Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Today I wanted to take a few minutes and talk about some battle reports that I got from Qatar. If you don't know him, he's one of the top five, if not top three players in the game right now. If you like videos like this where I break down battle reports from these guys, and this is actually Qatar himself. I know he doesn't have his name on here. He keeps changing his name around. But if you guys like videos like this, leave a like below, leave a comment, and I'll try to do more content like this. And we do have them coming out to the stream, hanging out with us every once in a while. If you didn't watch the stream a couple nights ago, that was pretty awesome. We had Qatar in there. We had Golden Fighter and Lionheart in there. So 3 VIP 18s just hanging out, talking in chat. But let's go ahead and jump into the video. We're going to take a look at this fight first. This is just to show you guys the difference of an aircraft team with and without Murphy. And the first up here, this is without Murphy. And you can see his team is at 115, almost 116 million power versus this other guy who is at 86.6. So definitely not a small team by any means. And then again, it is missile. So you're going to have that troop type advantage. And this just shows you, I mean, it's almost 30 million power difference between these two players. And the missile team is able to do that much damage to it. And obviously for the guy on the right, that's good that you're able to bridge that gap a little bit. But for Qatar on the left here, that is kind of painful. When you spend 4 to 5 times more than the person on your right, and he's able to do this much damage to your first team, that can be a bit frustrating. And that is what Golden Fighter was talking about in our stream a while back about how they could put so much money into games or into this game, into these different teams, and they can still get beat by certain team makeups by strong players that maybe didn't spend as much, but still quite a bit. And the biggest thing is this team, like I was showing you, didn't go through all this other guy's teams. So you can spend that much money and still not be able to get through all the teams. And that is what the frustration is. However, this does highlight the importance of team makeup and understanding what is going to be the most efficient team for you to use and who should be in that team. So this is without Murphy. And then if we go down here, this is with Murphy in there. So same team except for Murphy. And you can see the difference it makes. He goes through 1, 2, and then almost all 3 teams here. All right, and in case you are wondering, we'll scroll down here just so you can see the tactic cards. You'll see this is outside of Season 4. So he's not using the 4+1 card. This is still the buffs post Season 4. It's still there. It's not as strong because you don't have the 4+1 card and some of the other cards, like the mixed formation card. But it's just crazy how strong this lineup is with Murphy in here. But again, I got one here that may be even better than this. Let's take a look at this next attack, and then we'll jump into the team I'm talking about. This is the missile team. When he runs everything on his missile team here, you can see Qatar's full power squad, 115.3, so closer to 115. His other team was closer to 116, running against the same squads here. And the missile team is able to do a little more damage. Obviously, missile versus missile, you're not going to have that issue like you're going to have with aircraft, having that damage reduction or the damage output against a missile team. So missile team versus missile team, obviously that team is going to do a little bit better than the aircraft team. And then it's going to go through this aircraft team below this one right here. It's going to go through this better because it is a missile team. You don't have any hero type advantages here when it's aircraft versus aircraft like the other team was. So this one, having that advantage in the second fight is obviously really, really, really good. And then going down to the bottom here, this is where you run into the troop type advantage. So pros and cons for this. Con is you're running into the troop type disadvantage at the end, which is not a good thing because that's whenever you're going to be your weakest. You flip that, however, and you put it first team. That's kind of what the aircraft was going up against. It was the aircraft team was going up against missile, so it has that hero type disadvantage off the start. Where this one, you're at basically a break even, and then you have the advantage in second, and then you have the disadvantage at the end. So it's a little bit difficult to compare if this is technically a better team or a worse team. But actually, let's take a look at that one real quick. This is against a different opponent, but there's two different things that we're seeing here. First of all, this is the missile team, and it has Lucius in it, so a little bit different than what we've seen before. And you can see here his team is actually 100 and almost 19 million power with this lineup in here. And then we'll take a look at the stats here real quick. You can see it is all missile for his components and everything. And that's still the same. No purple tactic cards on this attack either. And this player is slightly smaller than the last player that I was showing you. But you can just see it runs through this team no problem. But then it hits the second team, takes a fair amount of damage. And then by the time it hits the tank team, it doesn't have enough to keep on going. But it still does a ton of damage to this team. And like I was saying about the lineups, and whenever you hit somebody, like for instance, his team, Qatar's team right here, he is attacking them as a missile team hitting an aircraft team. So he has an advantage. And if you were to flip this and use his aircraft team with with Murphy in there, would he be able to do better with that? Say if the tank team was in the first position, then you had aircraft and then missile at the bottom, would we get the same results? I don't know. Unfortunately, he didn't do these attacks back to back with the same player, so it's hard to see how that would have done. Either way, this lineup is very strong, and this is not even the strongest thing and not the highlight of this video. So let me show you that battle report real quick and then explain what happens. So this is the next battle report, and it's the exact same lineup. And look at the difference with this hit right here. Nothing changed. So if we go into here, you can see his power and everything pretty much the same. So there was no changes there. There was no changes with the lineups. The same lineup as that we were seeing in that last hit. What's the difference now? You want to know. And if you go down to the bottom here, you can just see this is the crazy scaling part. I just want to show you this real quick. 32.8 million versus a 65.3 million. This is why I always say the 4 squad, it's just a laugh. Even if you're a VIP 18 player, your 4 squad is just a laugh. It's so easy to beat with weak teams. Now, if I was to hit this team with my main squad, yeah, I'd be able to run through it. But if this was, say, Golden Fighters, 4 squad, which is probably like, I don't know, like 80, 90 million, something like that, probably 85 million. If I were to hit that with my main squad, yeah, I'd have to hit it probably twice to get through it, but it's not anything like trying to hit one of their, even 3rd squad, which would probably take me about 10 hits to get through. So it really is just a joke at the moment. Hopefully Last Word changes that. It really is just a throwaway team. Okay, now let's talk about the morale boost. That is what happened here. I keep wanting to say Golden Fire. Sorry. Qatar went and hit a couple players, or an empty base, hit an empty base a couple times, built up the morale, and then went and hit this guy. So if you go into the stats, say let's go to the first one here, army size, and obviously the army is going to be bigger because of the gorilla on the left side here, but you can see the crazy amount of morale that he has. 2.78 million versus 2.3 million. And then if we go down here to this team here, just so you can kind of compare first team to first team. So we're at 2.78. You come down to here, 2.59 million. It doesn't seem like a lot, but that is a lot of morale. And that is the tactic card that gives you that extra morale whenever you hit bases a couple times and you keep attacking without that team returning, and you're getting that buff. So this is really, really strong. And I've told this to a lot of players. If you are a whale, or even just somebody that has a pretty decent team and you're hitting players that are weaker than you, this is a great one to have, because as you continue to hit players, and say something like a Warzone duel where you're just continually sending out attacks and you continue to hit the same base like over and over again without returning to your base, this is just going to give you so much more power. So your hits just keep getting harder and harder. But it's this skill right here, morale boost. So as you march across the world map, this squad gains 3.6 morale, and it can stack up to 5 times. So every time you win a PvP fight, so just hitting somebody's base and you win, you're getting 3.6 morale, percent per morale. for that squad. And so if you hit somebody, say 4 or 5 times, you're getting somewhere between, around 15-17% added to your morale boost, which is a ton of morale for as high a level these guys are. And you can see the difference. I mean, it's pretty night and day. He was not able to do even about half the damage to this third squad last time, and he ran through it with no problem, and then was still able to just eat this fourth team alive. And so people ask me all the time why I say you need to upgrade your heroes as fast as you can. You want to get as many troops on your team as fast as you can through like tech or whatever it may be. Because of that fact right there, when you get morale and you can just continue to increase morale with things like these tactic cards, it just allows you to do that much more damage. It doesn't seem like a lot, like 3.6 or 7.2% added to it. It does. I mean, this can do a ton of damage for you, and it continues to stack. So even if you have this card at base level, it still can do, or it can still can stack pretty high and give you a really big advantage whenever you're hitting other players. Overall, though, I think this Lucius with the missile team is fairly strong, but I still think the Murphy aircraft team may be the strongest one of them all. But let me know what you guys think about this stuff in the comments below. Do you think it's getting a little too complicated with the tactic cards? And now with the tier 11 troops coming out and the buffs that they're going to have, is that getting a little too complicated for attacking, worrying about what tactic cards you have and your troops that you're using with the tier 11 troops whenever you're able to switch between the two different types? Do you think this is getting too complicated, or do you think it's fun? Do you like having the opportunity to try new things and create a different play style? Obviously, there's always good with the bad and bad with the good. So we'll just have to see what happens when the tier 11 troops come out. But so far, I think tactic cards, not too bad. I hope they make some tweaks going into Season 5, because the purple cards, that was just a bit, a bit much to take in and try to navigate. So hopefully they'll start to rework that and maybe not give so many different tactic cards with so many different sub buffs and things like that. But that's just my opinion. But anyways, guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.